Hey there, my name is Liz and I'm a registered dietitian at the UNC Wellness Centers. Today I want to share a recipe with you that falls in the category of plant-based diets. It's a very popular word you're going to hear these days, and it basically means you're trying to substitute most of your animal sources of protein with some sort of plant source. Today we're going to go ahead and make some black bean burgers. So instead of using ground beef or ground turkey, obviously we're going to go ahead and use some black beans and make a burger that way. Super easy recipe, lots of flavor, and it can be made ahead of time. So if you're crunched for time and you have time maybe on a weekend to go ahead and make this ahead of time, this is a great recipe for you. Found it from the Food Network from Reed Drummond, so shout out to her for helping us out with this recipe today. Let's get started. We are going to use 2 cans of seasoned black beans. So I got the seasoned ones because they already have some of the flavoring in there for you. You can always go ahead and use plain black beans and add your own seasoning to it, but this way kind of cheat it a little bit. Some of the work's done for us. So let's go ahead and we have 1 can that I've already mashed up and is ready to go. Let's grab the other drained, but not rinsed, because if you rinse it, you're gonna take all the seasoning off. So I drained the black beans, put them in my bowl. It says you can use a fork. I'd rather use my potato masher because, like I mentioned in other videos in the past, I use this thing for everything. But you just mash it down. You don't want to mash it to the point to where you have no actual pieces of bean. You want to pulverize it. But you want it to be mostly a little bit more smushy, more like a ground beef type of a product. So you just mash, mash, mash until you get it to where it's more like not quite to the refried bean consistency, but it's more mashed down. So we have 2 cans of these seasoned black beans. Black beans are wonderful for so many reasons. Any bean is really, really good. It's an excellent source of protein. It's a great source of fiber, and especially soluble fiber. For those of us who have any issues with cholesterol, soluble fiber is really helpful with helping to remove that cholesterol from your body. So if you can try to get in more beans in your diet, that would be wonderful. All right, so like I said, 2 cans of seasoned black beans in our bowl. Get that out of the way. So that's what's going on in this bowl right now. The next thing we want to do is make up the mixture that we're going to add to this in order to make the actual burgers. So we're going to take 1 cup of breadcrumbs. Just plain breadcrumbs. These ones happen to be Italian seasoned, so we have some Italian and some Mexican theme going on here. But whatever you like. You can make your own breadcrumbs. You just literally take a couple of slices of bread, put it in a food processor, and there you go. So we have our breadcrumbs. The next one you're going to do is a grated onion. Now, the great thing about using a box grater to go ahead and get some onion is if you think about when you chop it, sometimes you get like these big chunky pieces. When you grate it, it's so much easier, faster, and you don't have to get those big chunks. You need about 1/4 cup, but this is up to you as far as how much onion you like. I typically go a little bit on the underside, especially if my kids are going to eat these. They might not want quite as much of that onion flavoring. You can also use onion powder. If you're not a big fan of actual chunks of onion or pieces of onion, measure that out to be about 1/4 cup. Good to go. Throw that in there. But yeah, like I said, you don't have to use actual onion if you don't like that. Last thing you're going to put in here, and what do you need to do to make this all mixed together? And this is the same thing you would do, like say if you're going to make meatballs, or if you're going to make meatloaf, you need some kind of a binder. That is going to be an egg. Break an egg. Put that in there, make sure there's no shell. Yay, did a good job there. And you just mix it up until it becomes more of a consistent mass of burger mix. If it's a little dry, you can always add some water to it. The last thing you're going to add before you go ahead and make it into actual burgers is going to be chili powder. Again, this is up to you. This is about 1/2 teaspoon, but you can add more if you really want to have a little bit more zing, or you can go less. it looks like it's starting to come together. I did have to add about a tablespoon of water to give it a little bit more staying power. It was a little too dry. So now you go ahead, I have removed all of my rings and jewelry because I don't want to have chunks of black bean in them. So the next thing you do now is you go ahead and you make them into your burger patties. Now you can see this is a pretty big mass of burger mix here. So you're going to want to make them into about 4 even balls first. Now the reason why they are a little bit on the larger side, that one's a little too big, I'm going to have to cut him down. Or you can always make smaller ones. If you want little maybe slider burgers, you can make whatever size you want. But part of the reason why you want to make them a little bit on the bigger side is because they do have a tendency to shrink. And if you want them to be actually fitting the size of the burger buns, if you notice burger buns are huge these days. So if you want it to be actually somewhat the size of what your bun is, then you might want to make them a little bit on the larger side. So now we're just going to kind of mix it together so it actually looks more uniform for all 4 of these burgers. And then we're just going to smoosh them down a little bit so they're more obviously looking like a burger. Like I said, these are a little bit on the larger side. I would maybe go ahead, I have 4 people in my family, but maybe I would make an extra one maybe for a lunch. Or you can go ahead and make as many as you have in your family. So this is where you get to a point where you can make a decision. You can go ahead and leave them as this. Go ahead and put them in a, wrap them in some saran wrap, wrap them in some aluminum foil, put them in a Ziploc bag of some sort, and you can put them in the freezer. And then when you're actually ready to prepare them, if it's not something you want to make right away, you can go ahead and put them in your freezer, pull them out, and then you can go ahead and cook them for a night meal if you want to. But we're going to go ahead and cook these off so you can see what they look like at the end. So meet me over at the stove. I'll see you there in a minute. Welcome back. So we're going to go ahead and cook our burgers now. So I already went ahead and heated up, or sprayed my pan. I'm going to get it heated up and just going to put them on there. I was thinking about one thing that I forgot to mention. I know I used an egg in here in order to make it as the binder. But if you were a vegan and you wanted to do this recipe, using an egg wouldn't make it vegan. So you can always use an egg replacement to go ahead and do the same exact thing. So let's go ahead and put our burgers on here. Cook 4 of these. It'll be about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. And then after that, again, it's just like any other burger. You go ahead and you put it on your bun, put on some lettuce, tomato, onion, ketchup, mustard, pickles, whatever you like on your burgers. Make it all, you can customize it however you like. So you literally just kind of let it, you can hear it sizzling. You just have them cook. You want to get brown on each side. And then you go ahead and flip them. Other side done, and you're ready to go. All right, let's take a peek and see how they're looking. Looks good. So as you can see, it got a little bit browned on that one side, and it's ready to go, to be flipped. All right, I think they are about done. So we're going to go ahead and turn off the stove, put them on our plate, and like I said, go ahead and grab your bun, your ketchup, mustard, mayo, pickles, onions, tomatoes, lettuce, anything you want to go ahead and put on there and make it your own. Hope you enjoyed this today. I hope you try this recipe and let me know how it goes, and hope to see you again soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.